All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. This is the Town of Hempstead's public hearings on the assessment roll of the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District for fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2024, and the preliminary budget of the Town of Hempstead for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2024. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Clavin.
I am here.
Councilman Carini.
Here.
Councilman Dunn.
Here.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Here.
Councilwoman Miller.
Here.
Councilman Muscarella.
Here.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Here.
All right, Councilman Ryder, if you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Again, good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to remind everybody, every participant is given one chance to speak for up to 3 minutes in accordance with the town board's rules. Today's public hearing begins at 2:30 and will be continued at 7 p.m. Each of the items are one continuous hearing today, so participants can offer their comments either now or later at 7 p.m. We'll start now, Madam Clerk, with a call of the public hearing on the assessment roll for the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2024.
Well, you said it well.
Thank you.
We have the proposed assessment roll of the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District for fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2024.
Excellent. Does any member of the board wish to be heard on this? Okay. I do have a couple of sign-ins here. I have Mary Ann Brady. Did you want to be heard on this item?
Martha Ann Brady.
Okay, Martha Ann Brady. Thank you very much. I apologize for reading it wrong. You'd like to be heard on this, ma'am?
Yes.
Name and address, thank you.
This budget, I want to know what the classes are within the fire protection districts, 1, 2, 3, 4. How do they determine what amount of funds goes into these different classes?
I'll ask our town controller to give you an answer. I think you might have that confused with our second part of the hearing. Is that right, Joe?
This is not about the Greater Atlantic.
This is about the Greater Atlantic Beach, but I think your question isn't about the Greater Atlantic Beach.
No, it's about Uniondale.
Okay, well, we're talking about the Greater
My hometown
Atlantic.
for the last 75 years.
Okay, Ms. Perry, again, we actually, as I said, this call number 1 that you signed in for has for the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District. Perhaps you want to wait to be heard on the second one, and I'll make sure I say your name proudly and proper. Thank you. All right, does anybody else wish to be heard on the Greater Atlantic Beach Water Reclamation District? Okay, if not, may I please have a motion to continue this public hearing to the 7 p.m.?
I move to continue this public hearing to 7 p.m. this evening. Second the motion.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
And I also want to note for the record that our receiver of taxes, Janine Driscoll, is here as well.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Driscoll. Always good to see you. America's favorite receiver of taxes. I now am going to ask Madam Clerk to call the next item.
Yes, we have the preliminary budget for the town of Hempstead for fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2024.
Mr. Supervisor, and
Yes,
members
sir.
of the board, the Controller's Office received a revised estimate from Sanitary District 7 for its fuel and oil expense and its Social Security expense, and received a revised estimate from the West Hempstead Water District for its motor vehicle expenses, Social Security expenses, and New York State commuter tax expense. We have copies of the revised spreadsheets for the public, and a copy is available on the town's website. I would ask the board to please amend the preliminary budget regarding Sanitary District 7's estimates and the West Hempstead Water District's estimates.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Town Attorney. May I have a motion to that effect, please? Somebody? Dorothy? Can I have a motion to that effect? So moved? Oh, okay.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Okay, does any member of the board wish to be heard on the preliminary budget? Okay, I have a couple of people who signed in. I have a Martha Ann Brady. Hi, Ms. Brady, if you give your name and address for the record, appreciate it.
Thank you. Classes are listed 1 through 4. What's the definition of these classes? And I'm looking at the Uniondale Fire District, which is listed as a 4th class. Why is that? What's the definition of these?
Town Controller, would you respond
Yes.
to that? Mr. Master my Town Controller.
Yes, good evening, good afternoon, actually, not yet evening. There are 4 classes of property. The town does not have anything to do with designating the 4 classes of property. They are an assessment issue, and what it is there are different types of properties that are in each class. The 4th class is basically all others. Class 1 is residential, Class 2 is multiple dwellings, 3, I believe, is utilities, and 4 is all other, which is primarily commercial. So what that's telling you, that in that particular budget, that particular breakdown, there's only Class 4 properties in that particular district.
Well, Uniondale is more than just residential.
Not in that district. That's according to the Nassau County Assessor who provides that information to us. And according to the Nassau County Assessor, there's only commercial in that area.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, I have Mrs. Cray.
Yeah.
Afternoon, Mrs. Cray. If you could give your name and address, that'd be great.
Mary Ellen Cray, 436 Locust Avenue, Uniondale. I want to protest, first of all, that we just received, we were sitting out in the lobby area and unable to receive copies of this, and you have had many hours to review it and assess it, and we get a chance to look at it for 3 minutes before the hearing starts. So
Maybe my Town Controller can put you a little bit at ease there. John, you want to explain?
Yes, the budget that you have is almost identical to the tentative budget that was submitted on September 29th, I believe. And it was put up on our website on September 29th. And on September 29th, there were copies available at the town. This is the preliminary budget, and this has also been put up on the website for at least a week. So it's been out there. You've had plenty of opportunity to read and look at the numbers since September 29th.
And how was this publicized, please?
It's on the town's website.
I guess I'm just out of sync with websites and things like that, so I'm a paper person. Thank you. Okay, then I do have a number of questions, and I'd like to know, for example, as far as the water department, are the water filters now in operation, the ones that we're paying $25 a month for?
No, the $25 is a fee to help offset the cost of cleaning the water out of the 1,4-dioxin. The town has authorized $200 million to clean the water at the 6 water districts that the town has. And that $25 is just an attempt to offset some of those costs. And the operational costs are, pardon me, the wife.
Excuse me, you're not answering my question.
Yes, I'm addressing the $25 that's on your bill. That's what you're talking about?
I'm just asking, Are the filters now in operation? Have they been installed?
That's a question for the water department. If you'd like to give us your name and number after, I'll be happy to have the commissioner talk to you about the many investments we've made and the different ways he's maneuvering to make sure we have clean water and are in compliance with 1.4 dioxin requirements. But that's not part of the budgetary question. Do you have
Well,
any
I would
questions?
think if they haven't been installed, then you
Mrs.
would have to
Green,
be
I'm not
buying them.
disagreeing with you, but this hearing, and you've come to the town board meetings so many times, this is the hearing about the budget, so if something regarding the budget that we could respond to directly, but if not, I'm happy to take your name and number and have the water commissioner personally call you. He's a great guy. He's probably here right now. Jay, are you here? There he is right there. He's right in the back, and he's going to take your name and number right after the meeting.
So you cannot tell me whether I would imagine buying these filters would be part of your budget. I would imagine installing them would be part of your budget. Why is this not part of the hearing?
Once again, I think you're misunderstanding. This is the operating
Okay,
budget.
and
When-
so there is an effort to, so you'll tell me. What about the other people who are here? I think there is definitely a situation of non-transparency. But we'll go on to another thing. In the sanitation department, a number of people were questioning the feeling that Uniondale is not being properly cleaned by the sweepers and so on. And so we'd like to know whether there is money in there to clean street sweep on Uniondale Avenue and Front Street.
We come out with a street sweeping schedule. We work with our highway department as well as the deputy supervisor who represents that area to do it. If you have a particular problem and it's a town-related street, we'll be happy to address it. If it's a county street, which some of them may be, we'll be happy to work with our partners in Nassau County as well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
One further, the landfill, I didn't get that far in the budget, but as you may or may not know, it had been proposed that we put a solar array on the Oceanside landfill, which happens to be right across the street from a transfer station. And there was a company, or is a company, willing to pay the town, which could contribute to the budget. And so I think that it is very appropriate for this issue to come up again and help to fill the coffers of the town. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for taking the time to join us as always. We'll take that under advisement. Next I have Lisa Godley. You want to be heard? Okay, no problem. Okay, but today's a budget hearing meeting, so we're only dealing with the budget here today. Next I have Stephanie Chase. Okay. Next I also have Pearl Jacobs. How you doing? If you give your name and address, thank you.
Pearl Jacobs, Uniondale, an underserved community, a donor community, and if you can't read my shirt, it says taxation without representation. I have a question on the budget item regarding...
You do have representation. You have the deputy supervisor represent Uniondale.
I'm sorry, what you
The
said?
deputy supervisor represents Uniondale.
Listen, you're the board. I'm just saying taxation without representation.
I know, but Dorothy's a duly elected member of the board.
I'm not being represented. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
okay, I'm sorry.
The water issue here, the water districts. I'm having here on page, I think it's 29, it says Roosevelt Field, total of $46,564.02. Uniondale, total $326,328.75. And then you have the class 1, 2, 3, and 4. Total water districts, total $5,625,900, and I do believe it's 68 cents. Can you break that down to me and explain where these class 1 to 4 districts are and how much is allocated?
What page was that you were referring to?
I do believe it's, if I can see correctly, it's page 25, I think, in the budget.
25, okay.
25.
Mr. Mr. Controller?
Yeah, page 24 is the breakdown of the revenue that's collected, the tax revenue that's collected with the 4 classes of property that I just spoke about. And it's broken down. We supply the county assessor with the total taxes that we're going to collect. The assessor then takes it and breaks it out into the 4 classes of property. We have nothing to do with that. They have determined how much each section, class 1, 2, 3, and 4, bears to the total tax.
Can you please identify the 4 classes of property so I can understand it, please?
Class 1 is residential. Class 2 is multiple dwelling. Class 3 is utilities. And Class 4 is everything else, which would mean multiple dwellings and commercial properties.
Is there anything in the budget for our residential? This is what our water tower looks like. This was taken by a picture of from a drone, okay? This is what our water tower looks like. It's disintegrating. It's brown. It's disgusting. This is what our water tower looks like. When will Uniondale's water towers be replaced or retrofitted?
Okay, I know Commissioner Reinhardt's here. He can follow up with you. I don't know if there's anything directly in the budget for that. Commissioner? Yeah, come on. Please, thanks, Jay.
And you can have this picture. Can you hand this picture in, young lady? I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's Uniondale. It looks like a health and a safety issue, something I can maybe follow up with the New York State Department of Environment and Conservation about.
If you feel so strongly about that,
I do feel strongly
absolutely you
about
should.
it. If
Jay?
it was in your
Commissioner
community,
Reinhardt?
you would feel strongly
No,
about it as well.
As I said, if you have the concern, you know, you
It's
can reach out to them. I
disgusting.
think you're right about that.
It's disgusting.
Yes. Jay, you can speak to loud.
Hello?
There you go.
There we go.
In this
Okay,
voice.
fine. Yes, we've discussed the water tower in the past. That's actually the East Meadow water tower that you're referring to. That is
Not
a
the East
future.
Meadow Water Tower, sir. That's at Turtle Hook.
That is actually the East Meadow Water District.
Okay, what have you
The one
called
at the
it?
foot of Hempstead Boulevard is the Uniondale Water Tower. That is actually in our 5-year capital plan.
Right.
Right at this point, where it's not been done because we're in the process of doing the 1,4-dioxane treatment, and we can't take towers out of service for that reason.
Okay.
But that's a capital project. It's not included in this budget. It's included in our capital plan.
Okay, so it's on the radar, and now we're dealing with the $200 million for the
I
one
am
for.
not, yeah, I am not an expert in this field, but just to look at that tower would show me that there's some compromise. You know, if you would go on top of that tower, I'm sure there's some breaches in that tower. With that amount of corrosion, it's a health and safety issue.
Okay.
And it needs to be followed up. And I have one more issue before we go. They put a metered water meter in my home. It's causing noise pollution in my home.
Is that a
So-
budgetary question?
No, it's not budgetary, but I want to.
Ms.
May I
Jacobs, you've been
speak with
coming
you
to
after
you've
the
been coming to
meeting?
meetings for over a decade. We love having you here, but you know
Well,
today's about it. If you'd like to follow up with the
I
commissioner
will follow up
separately.
after the meeting.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I don't have any other slips. Is there anybody that did not sign in that wishes to be heard this afternoon's meeting? Oh, there we go. We got one. There we go. Marcia DiTieri. Please, your name and address. Thanks.
Marcia DiTieri, Merrick, New York. I looked over what I could see in the budget, and I wanted to know if there was anything in the budget for right-of-way tree planting or tree trimming programs.
Well, directly, you know, obviously, we do tree trimming with our Parks Department, our Highway Department, Conservation and Waterways, so that's sort of included in the entire process of it.
Low cost or no cost to residents? So, promote
like
it?
I said, when it's safety or there's a matter in the parks or on the roadway or anything that we abridge, our crews go out there and maintain it. Yeah.
and not on people's property,
Yeah, they don't like when we show up on their property and trim their trees.
even if they call.
I'm sure my neighbors
Well,
would love me to
it's a
come mow
nice
their lawn. That's
program.
not happening either.
I think if we had that program, maybe it would stop people from calling the tree cutting places and just removing the tree instead of having it trimmed. It's just something to think about.
Okay, thank you.
Less trees, less pollution. Budgeting $4,500 on pollution control and $5,000 out of the same budget for paint and supplies. I mean, that seems a little off. The animal shelter budget. I see full-time staff budget is increased by $100,000 from last year. Is that for hiring additional staff, which is desperately needed, or increased salaries?
Generally, that could be a combination. We also don't know if anybody's going to retire. It's for anticipation. I think, John, you also budgeted for a
Additional vet.
additional vetted facility.
Part-time budget is reduced by almost half. There are incredible part-timers there that the director as well as supervisors would attest to. And if you put them full-time, it would be a win-win for all, especially the animals. Is that part of the increase to make part-timers full-time?
Ms. Gutierrez, we manage a budget, and, if there's a request, we review it, and we take a look. We have a lot of requests for part-timers throughout the town, from sanitation to highways to everybody in between.
These are animals, and...
No, I understand that. We get that from saying, but it just doesn't come from one department. We have a lot of departments.
Well, you decrease the part-time budget, so hopefully you don't decrease the part-timers and lose them instead of making them full-time. Legal fees are increasing by 1/3. If money was invested in increasing staffing, social media, and putting animals on the lost and found site immediately after arrival or picked up by animal control, the town would have decreased legal fees with less lawsuits. Speak with the employees to get their input for better use of funds instead of consultants. Animals are not evaluated sometimes for months, making it harder to socialize and ultimately get adopted. Budget for a full-time vet or veterinarians on staff instead of double-billed outside vets who are in it just for the money, as was Central Vet. You can't bring animals back after they are euthanized. Imagine if it was your pet. Grant money is available, as other townships have received, to better serve and enrich the animals. No cost to the taxpayer. I mentioned North Hempstead and Oyster Bay, who received $200,000 grants, in addition to Kent Animal Shelter in Suffolk. Islip just received a $1 million grant. No cost to the taxpayers, enriching animals' lives, update the shelter. I mean, win-win for all. I don't know if you've looked into that.
Do you have a question regarding the budget? Because we've talked about the grants before.
Decrease the budget.
Ms. Gutierrez, again, we talk about it a lot. Today's about the budget, and we've utilized grants to redo the turf recently there. So we've talked about this. Do you have anything directly regarding the budget today?
I'm just talking about saving money for the constituents.
Okay, great. Okay. I don't have any other slips. Is there anybody else who wishes to be heard that did not sign in? If you just go to the back and give us your name and address, that'd be amazing. Hey, how you doing?
Good afternoon. Whoop.
You good?
Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay. My name is Janine Maynard.
Hey, Ms. Maynard.
I'm 255 Perry Street, Hempstead, New York, and I'm part of the Greater Uniondale area in the taxing school district. I'm asking about information that we have now that the Brookhaven the Brookhaven landfill will be closing in 2024. And we know we have the Covanta plant in the area, and that's been functioning and been in the news recently as well. I'm concerned about the content of the ash. Does the budget reflect that that landfill will be closing and that there's a likelihood that we'll have to transport ash further away to a different location?
John?
We pay Covanta based on a contract that we have. What they do with the ash, it's simply their process of how they get rid of the ash. We have absolutely no connection to that landfill at all.
Okay.
So
we don't ship anything to the landfill. We go to Covanta, we pay a contractual price to Covanta, and that's how we deal with it.
So these reflect accurate projections from Covanta for 2024?
Well,
Yep.
yeah. It's a contract that has cost of living increases in it. And that's where we bring our garbage to them, and they process it and burn it, and wherever they do with it, they do with it. They're responsible for that. We're not.
Okay.
Okay.
As long as it's based on a real contract.
Yes.
Then,
No, it's a real contract.
okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Maynard. Okay, I don't have any other slips. So anybody else who did? Yes, please, if you give your name and address to the back. Thank you.
Diane Madden, Hempstead. A question about the health line on the animal shelter budget. I did notice, I think it's within 2 years, the shelter budget went up by $1 million. That could be a good or very bad thing. It could be a good thing if the money's being spent to help the animals and to increase staffing. But could someone give me the breakdown on the health? I'm looking for where's the crematory, where's the TNR, where's the behaviorist?
It's $1.3 million. There's Wantor Animal Hospital is $150,000, Central Vet $945,000, Bloodhound Labs $15,000, and New York Vet $190,000. That's $1.3 million estimate for next year.
I'm sorry, did you say Central Vet?
Central Vet, yes.
For next year?
All of these numbers are for next year. It's a budget for '24.
I understand. I thought that was severed.
No, Jack, you'll explain regarding Central Vet. Right now, we're not utilizing Central Vet. Is that correct?
Central Vet is no longer one of our vendors. When they did the budget, based on last year's, I'm sure that they had Central Vet listed as a provider, but we do not use them.
Thank you for verifying. Could someone please tell me then, where can I find the TNR expenses, crematory, behavior? There used to be a line item for enrichment, which would have been a trainer. Veterinary, where is that cost that you would mention? I'm happy to hear that you'll be hiring an on-site vet. I implore you to look very carefully. But where can I find all of those itemized numbers?
They're under account 641260, fees and services.
Excellent.
Can you break that up for me?
Well, we're not going to do it. That's been provided. So do you have a direct question regarding it?
I was just trying to get to specific numbers.
Well, if you have one source, like I said, Ms. Madden, you've been down here a long time too. You know, we put the budget online. The controller responded. He gave you the budget line, but we're not going to go through line by line in the budget.
Supervisor Clavin, I have been here a long time, and as a matter of fact, they used to explain. A previous controller used to explain and identify those costs. So, with all due respect, I have been here.
That previous controller is not here, and John Mastromarino's got me at a AAA bond rating, so I'm going to go with this controller.
Listen, congratulations, but
Thank
that
you.
still didn't answer my question.
Okay, I think it did.
Where would the maintenance mechanic salary be? That's no longer itemized either.
General services guy?
Budget.
I'm sorry?
It's in the back of the budget. It's all the salaries are listed in the back of the budget.
Related to the animal shelter?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. And any injury litigation or settlements, where would that number be found?
Well, we have legal services, 641320.
And that's where includes all of that?
where we-
And where is employee health care?
Employee health care?
Right.
Well, it's in the undistributed section of the general fund, and it includes health insurance. It includes everything related to that. Page 62. Yeah, I'm told it's on page 62.
Okay. And the category where I would find and help determine, because I wholeheartedly agree, the staffing there is very insignificant. It's inadequate. So where would I find the number to determine whether employees were getting full-time promotions or additional part-time jobs?
Well, yeah, the salaries are on page 87.
So it hasn't gone up, is that correct?
The salaries are, the total amount is approximately what it was in '23. It's $4,212,046.
Okay, because again, I can't stress that enough. It's imperative for the shelter to succeed, to have a very adequate amount of staffing, to have on-staff, on-site veterinary care, and to have a very strong behavior department. The shelter has none of those three right now. So in order for the shelter to succeed, I implore you to look at some of these numbers, move them around, and bring professionals in and experts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Madden, as always. I don't have any other slips. Is there anybody else that wishes to be heard that did sign in? If not, may I please have a motion to adjourn to 7 p.m. this evening?
So moved.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Okay, thank you all very much, and we'll see you this evening at 7 p.m. for the continuation of the public hearing.